to the live videos I do here on this channel every Friday at around 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. Today I'm going to talk about an Inconvenient sequel, which is the documentary follow-up to the 2006 documentary called An Inconvenient Truth, which made a huge impact on the way people think about the environment, although maybe not as much as it should have, because I feel like a lot of people kind of like forgot about that movie. People don't talk about it nearly as much, so I'm so excited 11 years later to have another reminder of this and the importance of paying attention to the environment and understanding climate change, which is something that I'm incredibly passionate about. Now, I have not seen an Inconvenient sequel yet. I will do a review of it as soon as I do see it. However, today I had the pleasure of seeing Al Gore talk about this film, along with, I believe it was the directors, or one of them may have been a producer. I apologize, I forget who was who there. They were all at YouTube Space LA, and it was phenomenal. I will link to the recording of this talk that I saw so that you guys can check it out, because there was a lot of great information. Now, I summarized some of the things I learned on my Facebook Live video, so I will link to that down below too. I don't want to repeat too much here. What I actually want to do is talk about some takeaways, encourage you to go see this movie along with me, because I think this is such an important time to see a movie like this. And I want to share with you some of my favorite books about eco-friendly living, so that you have some action steps, you have some things, some resources to turn to beyond me, beyond documentaries. I think documentaries are so great. Obviously you like watching video content, but sometimes we just see a documentary, we feel inspired momentarily, and then we just go on with our lives without making change. That's where I feel like books come into play, is that you get confident in taking some action, and then you need the resources. Actually, Inconvenient Truth, or Inconvenient Sequel, I should say, has a great website. I'm looking at it right now, and they have this whole hashtag called Be Inconvenient 10 Days of Action. And you can click on this, and it brings you to a Tumblr page that kind of gives you all of these different things that you can do for 10 days straight, which I think is amazing. I'm literally just looking at this for the first time, and it'll help you just start taking steps forward. Now, what I said in my Facebook Live video, which again you can watch, but I'll say it again here, is I think it's so helpful when movies come out like this to go support them, pay your money to go to the theater and see that, because that makes a big impact in how long they stay in theaters and how well they do financially. So supporting movies like this is super important, not just like watching them on Netflix, which is also great, but see it while it's in theater, because there's an energy to seeing a movie when it's in theater. You're with all these strangers, like there's just that collective consciousness that happens there, that excitement, and it's a great opportunity for you to take people that you know to see it and inspire their lives too. So again, I elaborate that more in my Facebook Live video if you want to hear me talk about that. But I think this is like, I can't remember if I think it was Al Gore who said this during today's talk, was the importance of shifting our perspective from the short term to the long term, which is a huge thing that I believe in, and so much of the core of my work is like, we have all these like short term motivations, things that we just want now, and we don't always place a lot of emphasis on the long term. And so climate change is often like something we think that we don't have to worry about, like someone else will do it. We don't have if we change something, it's not really going to make that much of an impact. But if everybody thinks that way, then of course that change isn't going to happen. Of course, like it's not going to have an impact. But with the environment, if we just don't do anything, we're actually contributing to more of the destruction happening, because there's so many changes that happen in our government. There are things that we do without having awareness of the impact of it, like the products that we buy, whether it's plastic or whether it's animal products, or all of these things that we might not even realize that we're doing that are harming the environment. One thing that Al Gore talked about a few times today was electric cars, and I actually decided to lease an electric car a few years ago. I did a ton of research on it, was so curious about it. That was one of the best decisions that I have made, because that has changed my entire perspective about the car industry. And it was so simple too, because leasing a car, it's like a short-term thing, right? Which I still have to like do some research on the environmental benefits, pros and cons of leasing, but I felt like that was like dipping my toe into all of this, and it really encouraged me to just find out what was going on, right? And, you know, a lease on an electric car is actually not a huge financial investment. So I have been using this electric car, plugging it into just like a little outlet in my driveway and never going to a gas station again, and learning more about like the solar panel options. Like I have some friends that have electric cars and their entire homes are solar powered. So their electric car is charging from the sun, and their houses are being powered by the sun, and it's like amazing how things are shifting. And I bring this up because you can make these small steps towards that progress, and they can add up to big things. And my passion for electric cars has inspired my friends to get electric cars and look into all of this. So it just creates this whole ripple effect. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a side note because I'm like obsessed with my electric car. And I remember when Inconvenient Truth came out, you know, and there was a great movie called Who Killed the Electric Car, and I remember thinking like, oh, electric cars, like maybe I'll have one in the future. And like there's all this like, it felt like such a barrier to just get an electric car. Like the Tesla is so expensive, like I could never afford it. Now there's like affordable Teslas coming out. There's so many electric cars to choose from. Al Gore was saying how some countries are committed to having all of their cars in their countries be electric by like 2020 or something like that. I don't remember the exact facts, but I mean, these are the sort of things that are starting to happen, and we can make these changes as individuals. We can start to push these movements forward and change how we are acting in our daily lives. So, share with you some books if any of you love books as much as I do, or you want to buy it for somebody else. So, and hello to Green Dragon who tuned in here. This is one of my favorite books, which I feel like has not gotten enough attention. This is called Comfortably Unaware. I feel like it's got a lot of the same vibes as Inconvenient Truth, the original documentary, kind of a similar title. And this one is specifically about veganism. A lot of people say that Inconvenient Truth didn't talk about that at all, if I remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I'm curious to see if animal agriculture is discussed in Inconvenient sequel. Again, I will do a separate video once I see that. But this book is so great. If you know somebody who is really inspired about climate change but isn't vegan yet, give them this book. It is a really quick read, and it's all about how our food choices impact the planet. Love this, full of great facts. I will link to all these books in the description field. This is one of the original green book or eco-conscious books that I got. It's probably a bit outdated, but still worth checking out, maybe like on Kindle or something like that. This is called The Green Book, and it's loaded with little steps that you can take to be more eco-conscious. I'm sure a lot of this is still relevant, although again, some stuff has changed a lot, like light bulbs, for example. Everybody thought like CFLs were the way to go, and now it's like LED lights are the way to go. So you kind of have to stay up to date. But there's just, I remember this book talks a lot about water conservation and things that you can immediately start to do. And this is just a fun, quick read loaded with like little paragraphs about the environment. This book has served me well over the years. You've probably heard me talk about this in the past. Celebrate Green is how to make your holidays and celebrations eco-friendly. I love this. I reference this every time there's a holiday coming up and I like want to write an article or make a video about it, and just, you know, simply thinking differently about the things that you do during the holidays, which is a time where we spend a lot of money, there are other people involved, there's so much in there that we can shift. One of my favorite resources for eco-friendly living, but also like just natural living in general, is Sophie Giuliano. She's written a number of great books, including these two, and these talk about beauty, basically, and they're very targeted towards women, but I feel like men can benefit from these too. It's how to make like your own beauty products, body care products, things like that. She talks about like making your own clothing here and various things that you can do in your lifestyle. Sophie is like such a joy. She's on a television show talking about these things all the time. She's just a phenomenal person. Even just following her online is great. This is another one of my favorite books. This is more about, I think, consciousness and compassion, but it talks a lot about how your choices impact the whole world. This is called The World Peace Diet. Love this. It's a lot about spirituality, social harmony, but that all ties into environmental consciousness. This is one of the most enlightening books I've ever read, and I highly recommend it. And lastly, this little one, if you're looking for something short, sweet, this could be a great book gift. And this is The Compassionate Diet, How What You Eat Can Change Your Life and Save the Planet. I haven't read this in a long time, but it's, these are all kind of similar. You might want to check them out and see which one resonates with you more. But it's like, how can you educate yourself more? How can you get inspired? How could you maybe gift these to other people so that you can create that ripple effect and continue educating ourselves? If we can get our friends and family, our loved ones, all of these people in our lives on board, we can support each other in so many different ways. We can continue to talk about all of these things collectively and just push each other to move forward. So my advice is to you is to see as many documentaries as you can, to read books like this, to get involved with other people that think similarly, and don't leave out people who aren't there yet. There are going to be people in your life that seem resistant to this. There are people that are ignorant about these things. Don't leave them out of the conversation, because those people need to hear this stuff too. Just find ways to communicate with them effectively. How can you inspire them, even if in the smallest ways? You never know how that's going to impact them over time. And of course, don't forget that just you yourself making these changes in your life will create that ripple effect in ways that you may have never imagined. When I started Eco Vegan Gal, this was like a little hobby. I started a blog, I started videos for fun. I just wanted to talk about these things. I never expected it to impact the people that it has and to enrich my life in so many ways. So move forward with it. Know that you can make a change as an individual, and please support other people who are doing this too. So in this case, go see an Inconvenient sequel. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. Like, it doesn't impact me at all if you do or you don't, but in a way it actually does impact me. So I take that back, because your actions will eventually have a ripple effect back to people like me, because the more awareness we have, the education, the motivation, the confidence we have to make changes, the better. And movies like this are eye-opening. Even just watching the trailer right now, it'll give you chills. When I saw it today, I'm like, we got to do something about this. And seeing Al Gore in person, feeling his energy, I'm just like, I know that we can make an impact on this. In fact, he said, he was bringing up how other movements have shifted so much over time. Like, I think he was saying that 5 years ago, he would have never imagined that in the United States, gay marriage would be so acceptable. And he said, he threw out some statistics that I couldn't memorize, but he's amazed at what's happened in just 5 years with that movement. He remembers what the civil rights movement was like when he was growing up and all of that. Like, change has happened. He also brought up the fact that we as citizens of the earth didn't even know what the earth looked like from the outside until the end of the 1960s. I think the first photo of the earth was taken in 1968. And that really wasn't that long ago. And that's when the first Earth Day started, or maybe Earth Day started in the early 70s, but we haven't been going that long with this. So we still have a ways to go, but a lot has changed in a very short amount of time. So keep that faith, keep that confidence, don't be discouraged, know that you have an impact, know that everything that you do has that ripple effect, and let that push you forward. And I hope that that makes you feel better about all of your individual choices. So I feel more committed to talking more about environmental topics, so you can look forward to seeing more of that from me. If you have any requests, any questions, anything that you want to share that you've learned, please let me know. I can discuss that in live videos and recorded videos. And I'm here to support you guys. Know that you are not alone. You have me. You have the other people in this Eco Vegan Gal community. We are all in this together. So you can stay in touch with me. You can meet other people through the comments. I have the platform Eco Vegan Pal, which is a membership community where you can meet other people. That's linked to down below. And while you're looking down below, you'll see the link to an Inconvenient Sequel's website with all the info. You'll see links to all these books, and you'll see links to where else I am on social media. So if you just search for Eco Vegan Gal, or you use the links down below, you can connect with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm there every single day, sharing information and connecting with you. So I'm here for you, I care about you, and let's make a difference together. Thank you so much for watching. If this happens to be your first time watching my videos and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. Speaking of which, I want to recognize some of the people that are here live. We have Julie, Aurelion, beautiful name. Debbie's here, Green Dragon is here, and Debbie said, if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Very true. So you guys get involved, take that action, and that's where the changes are going to happen. That's it for today. I will see you live next Friday around 5:15 Pacific time. In the meantime, keep an eye out. I might put another video in here and there, and wishing you all the very best on each of your individual journeys in the meantime. See you next time.